100-yard rusher in 16 games, and that changes right there on cue. He's into the triple digits. Taking a deep shot. Brown is down there, and he's got it! Oh, what a catch!
They're coming. Fields is in trouble. Racing away, and he's sacked again! Myles Garrett, a career day. Living in the backfield. 4.5 sacks.
In one timeout for Cincinnati, and going deep into the end zone and caught by Chase. Oh my goodness, what a grab!
4. He was bringing 5. In trouble, what? Brings him down. Maybe this time. Keeping himself untouched into the end zone.
Have you ever felt?
The pump fake. Are you listening? That's intercepted by Wilson.
Ball's out. Oh, look, ball is out. Oh, boy.
The whole way.
Geno Smith will drop deep. He'll pump. He'll take a lost the football. Knocked down by 1. Recovered by Devin Bush, who circles the right way. He almost lost the ball.
Pressure coming. Mayfield able to get away, and now he'll uncork it for the end zone. Ball in the air, and it's caught. It's caught. Donovan Peoples-Jones. Baker's prayer is answered.
Yo, welcome here to another edition of the AFC North Talk, and I see you, I hear Bengals fans. I know you want to talk about this effing game. Not yet.
Is there a game to talk about today? I missed it. What happened on Sunday?
I wish there weren't. But before we get started with the game, because we have to give love to everybody in the AFC North Talk, and there was a game on Thursday that we already talked about, but still, and then the Steelers went on a bye, but there's some kind of quasi news.
First bye week in 2 years, by the way. First bye week for the Steelers in 2 years. You guys forget about that. It wasn't. I didn't know what to do with my hands last week. It was what is a bye week?
What's going on in Steelers world right now?
What's not going on in Steelers world right now? There were two big news items this week. One I thought was relatively interesting out of Mike Tomlin's press conference, and the other one was Doug Whaley, Ryan Clark, and Carson Palmer all getting together to all annoy Steeler fans, and especially if you saw that press conference today, very much getting on the nerves of Mike Tomlin today. Yeah, so Doug Whaley started this rumor a week and a half ago. He has this new afternoon radio show in Pittsburgh. He started this rumor during the bye week saying that, hey, you know, the things that should really worry the Steelers are LSU and USC because, you know, they can pay Mike Tomlin all kinds of money that the Rooneys could never come up with. And so, you know, Tomlin will take a coaching, a college coaching job. Then Ryan Clark jumps in because Ryan Clark used to be a booster, I guess, or a fundraiser, something. He had some, you know, post-playing career relationship with LSU as a booster or fundraiser. He said, I'd be ready to, you know, to get the boosters to back a dump truck up to Mike Tomlin's house to get him to LSU. And then Carson Palmer the other day went on Dan Patrick and said, you know, and he named all the guys, right? James Franklin and Luke Fickell and all the normal guys. And then at the end, he goes, you know, one wild card, though, Mike Tomlin, which, of course, got everybody going again on this whole Mike Tomlin thing.
I love it.
Mike Tomlin at college, Mike Tomlin at college. And so Tomlin, you know, credit, and we have to give massive shout out to Tim Benz, who was the one who asked the question of Mike Tomlin today at the press conference. I was on Locked On Steelers yesterday. Well, it's airing today. And Chris and I both said, I don't think Tomlin's going to actually get asked this question at the press conference. Credit to Tim Benz for actually asking the question because we knew what Tomlin's response was going to be. This is ridiculous. A ridiculous notion that he's going to leave the Steelers, especially for the reasons. 2 years ago, I don't know if you guys remember this, 2 or 3 years ago, during the season where Ben got hurt, there was a rumor that the Washington football team was interested in Tomlin. And that was an interesting time because that was after, this is like post AB deciding, you know, he wants off the team. Le'Veon left the team. You know, Tomlin lost the locker room. Ben had just gotten hurt. Washington wants him. And you'll remember this at the time that Tomlin's kids were going to Maryland and Washington just a hop, skip, and a jump away from Maryland. So there was like interesting rumors at the time. There was also the Washington football team playing in Pittsburgh International Airport, which I used as a meme for like forever now. So that was a lot of fun back in the day. That one made a lot more sense than this one. The money aspect of this to me makes no sense, right? Tomlin said today, like, there's no blank, there's not a big enough blank check that a team could write me. Mike Tomlin has the most secure job in America. The Pittsburgh Steelers have not fired a head coach in 50 52 years. 52 years, but without firing their head coach. So there's no amount of money that LSU or USC could offer to Mike Tomlin to get him to leave. He's got a guaranteed check coming every single year from the Pittsburgh Steelers. And if the Steelers wanted to fire him, and they won't, but if they wanted to, they could have used the Tebow loss. They could have used the Bortles loss. They could have used that year where AB, decided he was off the team and blew up the locker room. They could have used this year with an embarrassing loss to Baker Mayfield after the collapse at the end of the season. They wanted to get rid of Mike Tomlin. And at each of those points, not only did they not fire him, they gave him extensions. The Steelers are the best job in the National Football League, a far better job than a college job where you go there. If you don't win for 2 years, you're out. I mean, look at Ed Orgeron. Ed Orgeron wins the title.
Look at Jim Harbaugh. He has
Ed getting fired for more than losing right now, though.
True. There are off-the-field concerns with him. But then you think about the guy in Auburn, Gene Chizik. Again, 2 years after winning the national title there, Gene Chizik out at Auburn. So, no, I think this whole thing, and I'm glad that I'm glad that Tim Benz asked the question. Tomlin addressed it. And now, we've seen coaches say, no, I'm never leaving. And then they leave. So I'm not saying that, because Tomlin said he's not leaving.
I'm hoping this week somebody asked him in Cleveland.
But let's just let's call a spade here. Like this is idle speculation during a bye week, and none of it is coming from Tomlin's camp. Do I believe that LSU and USC would love to have Mike Tomlin as their head coach? Sure, absolutely. I think Carson Palmer's probably had discussions with people close at USC saying like, hey man, if Tomlin became available, let's go do it. I'm sure that all happened. But the idea that Tomlin wants to leave and Tomlin wants out, that's just again, that has no basis in fact.
Okay, we have a couple super chats here real quick before we go to Quincy and the Browns. Joey Keller says, appreciate you guys for your hard work and dedication. Go Browns. I appreciate you, brother. Frostfire 12 says, Ace, it is time to say Burrow is better than Lamar. Yeah.
Okay.
I love it.
I think that conversation is definitely heating up for sure. I mean, we knew that it was coming, and I kind of talked about it. I said that he was the second and he was coming for the throne. I don't think you can say it just after this game, but I think the way that the season plays out will determine it, but it's definitely a conversation that can be talked about for sure.
I disagree, but we're
gonna get there. We'll get there.
Come on now, though. Like, let's be honest here. Yeah, Joe Burrow won the game, and congrats to Joe Burrow there. But like with the Ravens right now, it was literally like Lamar's all they got. Like offensively, at least, it just seems like if it ain't Lamar, it ain't gonna be nobody else. They were because Lamar had been playing that well. He didn't have the same level of games that he had the days before. But I mean, like Joe Burrow right now, he's playing great. But like we're talking about a former MVP here. Like there are hurdles Joe Burrow has to get through before he can be talked about. Like
I'll comment about that when we talk about the game.
Yeah.
Brandon Wisnant.
We only have one game to talk about today, and today is going to be just spoilers for everyone watching. This is not going to be a short show.
No. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for the donation. It is time to say Joey B is the best QB in the North. And Quincy, all the Bengals fans want an apology for all the trash talk.
I hate when fans do this. You want an apology for something I said earlier in the year? You won. Like that. Dude, what do you want? You want me to say sorry because I believed in something earlier? No, stop that. That's dumb. Stop asking people for apologies because they disagreed with you at one point in time. That's so weird. Stop doing it.
I love it.
Tyler Benson here. Shout out for the donation. The super chat Chase. Rookie of the year. I mean,
right now,
yeah.
Is there even a number 2 right now? I guess I'll check the lines, but
I don't think there's a number 2. Mario here says, let's bring back those potential rankings and see how everything looking now. Okay. Am I caught up? No, there's one more here. Frostfire says, Ace, I agree. Bengals are winning.
Wait, so where did we put? I remember we put Burrow 4, and that was a very controversial episode. Fun one though.
Yeah.
Where did we put running back room? Did we put them 3?
I put Burrow second.
2.
No, I think the overall as a group, the ranking winners tag.
Running back. I don't know.
I think you're second.
We definitely did not put the Steelers over them.
No,
no. We definitely put them 3 or higher.
Yeah, they were
put the Ravens.
I don't think I put them above the Ravens because
with the Ravens running back room right now, and of course today, obviously.
Yeah, they're better than
J.K. Dobbins. Even healthy, Joe Mixon is better.
Than who?
It was 2 or 3. Browns were definitely.
I think we put them 3. Yeah, I think we put them 3. The Browns were definitely the first. Yeah.
Frostfire here says Ace agree.
Like
Bengals are winning.
I'm not gonna go out that far.
Super
I mean,
Bowl
the season, we're only in week 7 now.
Super Bowl.
We'll see how things work out. And then you got to beat Tom Brady if you even get to the Super Bowl, and that's not an easy task.
Okay. Garrick Muse, shout out to you. Thank you for the donation. Hi, guys. Ace, congratulations to your Bengals. You flat out whoop us, man. Q. If no Ravens fan has told you, thank you for the chain. Let me be the first. Sonny, never take the chain off your body. Tony, you have a nice living room. By the way,
You have a nice
Garrick.
living room. I appreciate that, Garrick. I appreciate that.
No,
My wife is actually gonna appreciate
it's
that
too
more.
late. It's too late, Garrick, to say thank you
they trying
for
to
the chain.
differentiate.
Y'all had 5 weeks, like Tony, legitimately 5 weeks, a whole month and a week to say thank you for bringing that. And y'all beat Kansas City the first one. Like y'all had a reason to say thank you. I got her to bring that chain out. Y'all went a whole month. I ain't gonna say nothing to Quincy. Quincy used to not like Lamar in 2019. I ain't gonna give him no props. No, so y'all let it go. Y'all did not say thank you for 5 weeks. You can't come back around now because you got your butt whipped talking about some, we do appreciate you getting to get the chain out now. Nah.
The chain
is
there.
back on.
It's like to my neck.
Yeah, nah, man. You can't reverse that. That's the Billy Goat jinx now. Y'all the jinx is on, baby.
Problem is, effing Florida cost me a bunch of money, right? But not only that, I lost my sunglasses. I need to buy
I know.
You lost the mojo from the chain.
I got more about that. I got some more about that. The sunglasses, they fell off at, I think, Disney World or somewhere.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a fun show.
Jay Wimsat, thank you for the donation. And AFC North playoff game seems very plausible. If the division beats itself up, then the winner might be a 3 seed against a 10-7, 6 seed. I mean, the
Bengals are beating everybody up right now. There's only been 2 division games so far, and the Bengals have won both of those games convincingly.
No. Anyway, remember, super chats are a way for you guys to derail the show. It's gonna be a fun one. And make sure you hit that like, please. Make sure you hit that like because maybe later there's not gonna be as much like. Anyway, Q. What's happening in Brown Country?
Dude, nothing's happening right now. We're trying to figure out what's going on with Baker's shoulder. It's the same story. It's been since about Thursday. We don't know. He's got some kind of bone situation going on there. He hasn't, honestly, if he were going to get surgery and be out for the year, it would have been out by now.
It should have happened already.
Because that would have happened. So he's not missing the year, or at least it hasn't been determined that he needs to miss the year yet. I don't see how it's gotten to this point, and it ain't been announced that he's getting surgery. So it's not like a 6 to 8 week thing. Look, this looks like maybe he's out 2 weeks, maybe he's out 3 weeks. I think that he's not going to play this week, obviously, versus Pittsburgh, because, I feel like the Browns feel like they can beat Pittsburgh with Case Keenum because Pittsburgh's not necessarily a team that should put up 50,000 points on you. But their goal, I think, is definitely going to be to have them ready for Cincinnati, because you are going to have to put up points to beat Cincinnati. And I know people don't want to face the reality. I know people want to sit here and tell me, well, Quincy, you're being unfair to Case Keenum. He went 13-3 once. He went to the NFC Championship game. He was like the 4th quarterback on that team that went whatever they went that year. I don't even think they went 13-3, but it was like they had a good record. It was like Teddy got hurt in the middle of the year. Then who else got hurt? Was it Nick Foles? No, not Nick Foles. It was
wasn't it the Wentz got hurt year? So
it was literally. By the way, this is what cracks me up when people are like, he got to the NFC Championship game. Like literally every quarterback that year got hurt. Like it was just like Drew Brees and a bunch of hurt dudes. Like it was Nick Foles and
Drew Brees though. Wasn't he the one that beat Drew Brees that year?
Yeah,
he did, right?
He beat Drew Brees, but Drew Brees ain't had an arm for like 3 years, like up until
that was Stephon Diggs. Remember the guy made the
That was the
Stephon Diggs. We ain't got nothing like Stephon Diggs right now because Odell's not catching. Jarvis has never been Stephon Diggs, so we ain't got nothing like
BPJ.
And also like this notion that like you just go get through the AFC like you got through the NFC. Like the AFC is much tougher. Like there's no reality in which Case Keenum is bringing you to the AFC Championship game, Browns fans. So that brings to me an interesting question. What you gonna say, Tony?
Well, I was gonna say, are we sure the AFC is that good?
It's better. It's good enough that you ain't gonna get there with Case Keenum.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, I don't know how good it is, but like, I'm sorry. The notion that you're going to beat the Chiefs with Case Keenum is hilarious. Even when they're playing terrible, is hilarious. Think about like Lamar just got beat by like 35 points. I don't want to see Case Keenum go in there against Baltimore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't disrespect to Case Keenum. No disrespect to Case Keenum. He's a 5-minute offense dude. Like, that's just is what it is. It's going to take 5 for him to get the ball in the end zone. And that's if you doing everything right. So you just can't win against high-powered offenses like that. And at least what we know about the AFC, if it ain't good, it got high-powered offenses. Like the Chiefs, they still putting up points. Well, not last week. But they still put up points on a regular basis outside of last week. The Chargers, the Bengals, the Ravens, literally anybody you think is going to be a contender, you know what I mean? They're going to put up points. So you know you can't go through the season without Case Keenum, with just Case Keenum. The interesting question I had posed is if you're the Browns, right, you invested a lot specifically in this year, like a ton, and then you're going to get a cap crunch after this year. If Baker's out for the year, which I don't think is the case, but if Baker's out for the year, you got to do something, right? Like you can't just have this year and just be like, we're going to roll with Case Keenum. You know what I mean? You got to do something. You got to trade for Trubisky. You got to do something. I don't know who it's going to be, but and I also would think it would be a young guy. And look, I'm just speculating. I don't know anything, but I'm saying like and this is a big if Baker is out for the year, you know you cannot win the Super Bowl with Case Keenum. Your goal is still to win the Super Bowl this year with this roster. So how do you get to that? You got to take a gamble on somebody. Who's that gamble going to be on? It's probably going to be on somebody young. Because, again, if Baker's going to be out for the year, that puts his contract situation in a very weird place. So that means that if you don't come to terms on a contract with him that you feel like is reasonable, you need to have a backup plan. Again, this is conversations nobody wants to have right now. But if he's out for the year, it's a very real conversation that you need to start having because you got to figure out something for the rest of this year.
We all have strong comments here. Go ahead.
What about trading for Andy Dalton?
Why would the Browns trade for? We already got Case Keenum. What we need Andy Dalton for?
Nick Foles has a bigger arm. Nick Foles is a big arm.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
A bigger arm than Case Keenum.
Okay. You got a bigger arm than Case Keenum. That don't mean I'm about to trade for margin availability.
This is what I want.
Cam ain't got a bigger arm than Case Keenum no more. You seen him throw them balls?
Cam has a bigger arm. Yes, Cam has a bigger arm.
No, Cam had a bigger arm than Case Keenum. But did you see Cam in training camp this year?
Yo,
dog, he got beat by Mac Jones. There's no arm strength left in him. Mac Jones? Is he great?
I'm gonna propose one. Look at this one. His magic is coming back. Browns trade for Heineke.
I was gonna say, the Browns got a first-hand look last year, nearly lost to a young quarterback. Who, listen, if you guys wanted to give the Steelers like a second-round pick straight up for Mason Rudolph, I think the Steelers would be willing to part with Mason Rudolph, who nearly beat Baker Mayfield in Cleveland. 2-point game, for those of you who don't remember, 2-point game in Cleveland with the Browns needing to win and the Steelers playing their backup. So if you want Steelers, Mason Rudolph, let's talk.
We lost with our backups by 2. Wait till the starters come in next week. We gonna blow them out. What happened? Tony,
I'm saying you want Mason Rudolph.
Do you care to recollect?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Do you want Mason Rudolph? Let's work this out. Let's work this out.
Okay, let's go through some super chats here real quick. Seagree Boss 83A. Should the Ravens trade Marlon? He's what?
Yes.
No.
Yes. The Steelers will. You know what? I would even give up James Pierre. As crazy as that sound, a future Hall of Famer in James Pierre for Marlon Humphrey right now.
Wait. Was it Ravens fans actually say that?
I don't know who's.
I don't think that was a Ravens fan saying.
I'm about to say, like, do they do that too? Because people were talking about Trey Miles after 2 weeks, and now he has 9.5 sacks.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway. Steelers.
Sonny, are the Ravens trading Marlon Humphrey? Yes or no?
No.
Well, he has a big contract, and the Ravens are going to be cap crunch with Lamar's contract coming up. It would be the smart thing to do if you want to go 8-8 for the rest of your life.
The thing you want to do is not have Marlon Humphrey.
Bengals are only legit because their record nobody expected, and Burrow have been playing at a high level pace.
Yeah, it can't be the money that they spent in free agency or hiring new coaches and stuff. Okay.
My question to that guy is like, bro, if they're only legit because of their record, what's your point?
because no one expected them to have this record.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
They're the 1 seed in the AFC. Like, they have the best record in the conference.
And they beat 2 AFC North opponents.
Yeah. They have wins over, well, not ranked, well, one ranked opponent, but like, you know what I mean? Like, what like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, nobody expected the Bengals to be like that. But if the Steelers were the 1 seed in the AFC, you feel like they were legit too. Because I know y'all did, because y'all team was sorry last year and had the 1 seed.
Okay.
And y'all thought they were legit.
Yeah, but you know, the more facts come in, the more science changes, right? You know, it's like, okay, like we have a year's worth of experience of doing this. Are we just gonna like? Well, we'll talk about this when we get to the
game. So we're
gonna massively derail. We got a lot of super chats.
Thoughts on OBJ? If he never makes that catch with the Giants, he's just
what? Is this a real question? Hold on, are you for real?
He's a one catch wonder. OBJ.
That was the only reason people cared about Odell. It wasn't because he was breaking Jerry Rice. Like what Jamar Chase is doing right now is stuff that Odell was doing like his rookie year. Like that was like the level of explosion that he was on early in his career. People forget that he was on pace to like break Jerry Rice records. Odell was like much more than just the catch. How did it get to this? How did it get to this point? Dog,
the hands of wide receivers.
He David Tyree now. He's David Tyree.
Tyree. Well, David Tyree without a ring.
Yeah. He made one catch. And that's all Odell has ever done in his entire goodness. Were you literally born yesterday? Like, you just have no context to any football before 2020.
Well, okay. In that guy's, I mean, listen. Okay, in that guy's defense, OBJ has not been relevant in 3 years.
Yeah, but he's saying he's only relevant from a catch from 5 years ago. Like
he had a great start in his career. Lately, he has been great. I think we all can agree.
No, this is what happens when kids get on Twitter. They see one highlight, they ain't never watched. Nah, man, come on, son.
Aaron Burr.
Come on.
Baker's supposed to practice tomorrow for Josina. Look at that, cute. That's good.
There we go.
Let me confirm that. Let me go to Josina.
Yeah.
I'm not about to.
Just because he practices doesn't mean he's going to play either. I mean, again,
I would doubt he's playing this week.
Yeah.
Watch Joe Flacco get revenge for the Ravens. That was hilarious.
We own Joe Flacco. It was like 5 straight before Lamar, so Joe Flacco's not getting it done.
Play on the review says Ravens tears are my favorite drink. Okay.
Ooh, me too, man.
Y'all coordinated that.
Look at that. That is your nephew, right?
Well done.
Why are they black?
By the way, this guy in chat says,
by the way,
has been irrelevant longer than he's relevant, which may be true, actually.
Maybe.
He had 3 good years and 4 years of not good.
4 years of injury, but
yeah. But still,
that don't take away what he did.
I know.
Like Josh Gordon is still getting signed off the basis of 1 year. Like Josh Gordon is still in the NFL because he led the league in receiving yards with like Brandon Wheaton almost 10 years ago. Like, you know what I mean? Like what you did before does matter, but you know.
Okay, so here says Bengals show how to contain Lamar.
Ben's still in the league. He shouldn't be in the league.
How long it takes other teams to adapt. Okay. By the way, guys, I have echo. Do you guys hear the echo too? Or it's just me?
One too? Yeah, I hear the echo.
Okay, I'll check later who it is. What up, Ace? This new Bengals got the energy hella weird in here. These boys don't know how to feel anymore. New day.
It's a new day. New day.
New day. What?
Okay, I think did I catch them all? No.
I think no. There we go.
That's the last one. Agree. The Bengals are better than Bills.
They're better than the Chiefs. They would beat the Chiefs probably
right now. I don't know about that at the end of the season. I feel like they're gonna get it wrapped up at the end.
Dearness Johnson for POTUS. Look at that. Some Dearness Johnson love. Okay, before we go to this big matchup that we're gonna talk, Tony, tell us about the sponsor.
Of course. Well, Halloween right around the corner. You know what's spookier than seeing a black cat on Halloween? It's shaving your balls with anything other than Manscaped. When it comes to below-the-waist grooming, there's no need to carve your pumpkins this Halloween because Manscaped is here to upgrade your grooming experience. Go from a bite-sized candy bar to a king-size candy bar and join the 2 million men worldwide by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping with the code AFC North Talk. That's AFC North Talk, all one word. Have you ever tried to trim your balls and it turned into a Freddy Krueger film? Well, luckily, Manscaped is here to save the day and make sure you're smelling fresh with their new refined body wash. Fellas, the ladies love their signature scent, and it will scare away those vampires. Unlock your confidence with the Performance Package 4.0. Inside, you'll find the holy grail of men's grooming items. They've made it easy for you to upgrade your grooming routine. It's a full moon out, and the werewolf in your pants is howling. It's time to tackle that problem with the Lawnmower 4.0. The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker, a total game changer for your men's hygiene arsenal. The Weed Whacker is a nose and ear hair trimmer that provides proprietary skin-safe technology that helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. Seal the deal with Manscaped's liquid formulations. Their Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner will make sure your pumpkins stay fresh. Trust me when I say, fellas, your balls will thank you. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. Bring your comfort and boxers to another level. If you're looking like Wolverine and haven't cut your nails recently, be sure to look into the Shears 2.0 nail kit. They have a bunch of other life-changing products on their website, so be sure to check it all out and get 20% off and free shipping with our code AFC North Talk. AFC North Talk, all one word, at manscaped.com.
Okay, so Ace, before we go to this game, do you think we should defer to Tony and Q to talk about it first, and then us too late on the
No.
No.
Okay, well,
Sonny, you and I talked pre-show. We already know this is going to end up in a massive derail.
Yeah, it's going to be a massive derail.
Let's let them derail.
It's going to be a massive derail.
Okay. Well, I will defer. I'll give the floor to you, Ace.
All right, man. So we all know before we did this, we don't have to put that up now. We can take that out right now. Not yet. We're not there yet.
We're not there.
All right. So, I was walking around Saturday, and after the show, Sonny told me he misplaced his glasses and he didn't have the chain, right? He also didn't have a cigar. So, I find myself in Orlando at Disney World, and I came across these.
Look at that.
Found the shades.
Look at that.
Also found the cigar, but you know what? It had some of that Herbert pack in there. We haven't played them yet. So you know what? I took that out and I found the Humphrey pack, 200 milligrams. We went and found that. And then when I came home, there was a package from Fanatics, as I am a Fanatics partner. And I was like, man, is that what I think it is? And I opened up the package. And it was a white Jamar Chase jersey inside of it, just in time for the Ravens and Bengals matchup. And so, you know what? I'm not going to lie to you guys. I thought that the Bengals had this one 34-30. I did not expect 42-17. That is the last thing that I expected to happen, especially in M&T. And you know what else I didn't expect? For Joseph Burrow to become the first opposing quarterback in NFL history, not Tom Brady, not Peyton Manning, to throw for 400 yards against the Baltimore Ravens and 3 touchdowns in 3 quarters. Not 4, 3 quarters. But starting things off, let's talk about Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. Let's just look at some things because I saw some interesting things in this game. Joe Burrow's expected completion percentage against the Baltimore Ravens, they played a hell of a defense. Honestly, the score might not say that, but his expected completion percentage was supposed to be 51.5%.
Ace, this is pregame or during the game?
You said this is pregame? This is after the game.
After the game, they said that.
So it's charting all of his passes and saying how probable it is that he
during the game. Yeah. He was expected, based off of the coverage that the Ravens played, based off of the position, he was expected to complete 51.5% of those passes. His actual completion was 60.5%. right? Because so some people may look at his completion percentage for this game and be like, oh, that's not a good completion percentage until you actually look at the adjusted completion percentage above expectation, right? Lamar Jackson, his expected completion percentage should have been 56.9%. His actual completion percentage was 48.4%, right? So in this game, I don't think Lamar played bad. I just think that Joe Burrow played a much better game. They're two different quarterbacks, but that's where this game started at, and that's where this game was the difference. Another difference, Jamar Chase. We talked about Marlon Humphrey versus Jamar Chase. This was the key matchup, Uno versus Marlon. And I said before, Marlon Humphrey has never played a receiver like Jamar Chase. The fast and twitchy stuff, the strength, and I didn't expect this to happen. I didn't expect this to happen either. I expected Chase to do his thing. But if you were going to tell me that Chase would end this game with 200 yards, there is no way that I would have believed you. If you would have told me that Jamar Chase, after this game, would be on track to be the first rookie, first-team All-Pro receiver since Randy Moss in 1998, that would be insane. To say that he would have 754 yards in 7 games, something that no rookie receiver has ever done in NFL history, I wouldn't probably believe you with that. Like, I would probably be like, it's probably not going to happen. If you were to tell me that the Bengals offensive line would only give up 1 sack against the Baltimore Ravens with the way that they blitzed after having 7 last year, there's no way that I would have believed that. So you got to give a shout out and kudos to the Bengals for coming in with their game plan and adjusting to the Baltimore Ravens. It looked to me like the Cincinnati Bengals studied the Ravens. It looked like to me the Ravens did not study the Bengals. They did not break anything. They did their man thing. They did their blitz thing. Even though Joe Burrow and the Bengals have been great against the blitz and man coverage, they stuck to their guns. And the one thing that really stuck out to me in this game that was the biggest turning factor, and this is when I'm going to try to bring up my play here. So let's go ahead and bring in the screen. Oh, hold on. I'm having some problems here. Let me try to. Oh, man. Oh, whoops. My bad, guys. Hold on. We almost there. We're almost there. Okay. All right. The first thing that I have to do is give kudos to Zach Taylor and this Bengals coaching staff. Because courtesy of, it's actually a Ravens fan. He does great work. Check him out on YouTube, All22. He brought this to my attention. The week prior, the Ravens played the Chargers, right? And this is a specific play that the Bengals saw and ended up using once the Ravens went up 17-13. So check this out. You got Justin Herbert here. Keep an eye on this receiver right here. The play called is going to be a screen pass to the wide receiver, I believe, out here. The safety for the Raven is going to make the Raven safety is going to make a huge play here to tip the ball at the line of scrimmage. So we'll go ahead and let this play out. Notice where this guy is. All right. So Herbert, he gets rid of the ball so fast he doesn't see it. This guy's wide open, essentially, for a touchdown. If he just waits 1 more second, 2 seconds, and sees it, he see that this guy was wide open for a touchdown. Well, guess who did see it? Zach Taylor and the Cincinnati Bengals, right? Identical play. They run a fake screen here, right? And watch CJ Uzomah. Same play, just executed for a touchdown. The Bengals waited for this. They literally sat on this play until the third quarter. They had it in their pocket the entire time. And that was one of the other turning points in this game. The way that the Bengals came into this game and prepared from a coaching standpoint, from an offensive standpoint, from a defensive standpoint, literally they outcoached the Ravens in their own home. I was in shock. The way that Zach Taylor outcoached Harbaugh in this game, I never saw that coming. You guys know that I have been very critical of Zach Taylor. So switching to the defense, this is where it got crazy because I told you guys for a while, every single move that the Bengals have made is because of the Ravens. The players that they brought in, DJ Reader, Cheeto, corners that can tackle, more athletic linebackers. The whole reason for this defense, the way that it was built, was in respect to the Ravens. They brought in Larry Ogunjobi. They brought in BJ Hill. They wanted to be able to stop the run, and they wanted to have athletic corners that could tackle and things like that to bring Lamar Jackson down. And when I saw this game play out, the first thing that I said in our last show was we have to be able to stop the read option because Lamar is going to kill us with that. And we saw early in this game and often that they had the read option sniffed out. Shout out to Larry Ogunjobi. Oh, my goodness. That man stopped the read option so many times in this game, got to Lamar so many times in this game. Between him, Sam Hubbard, and Trey Hendrickson, the Bengals were able to sack Lamar, the only team in history to do this, 5 times. This was insane. And not only was it that insane, the number of pressures that these guys had. Larry Ogunjobi, 2 sacks, 7 pressures. Sam Hubbard, 2.5 or 3, whatever you want to call it, 9 pressures. Hendrickson, a sack, 8 pressures. They were all in Lamar's grill the entire game. I have never seen Lamar that flustered and uncomfortable in any kind of game. And I think that the game plan that the Bengals played was a great one. The other thing, you could tell that the Ravens didn't study the Bengals corners because they targeted Cheeto, who's our best corner, and is actually playing right now per PFF. He's got the 83 coverage grade on PFF right now. That's good enough for second overall. If you want to know a measuring stick for that, Marlon Humphrey, who I believe is a top corner in this league, is ranked 13th. And he hasn't gone against slouches at the receiver position. Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Allen Robinson, Claypool, Hollywood Brown, all of these guys, even Andrews, he got on for a player or two there. They targeted him. I would have expected them to go at Eli Apple, who they only targeted one time, but they went at Cheeto. And Cheeto had another good game. King Davis-Gaver had a great game. The Bengals defense had a great game. And this Bengals defense is legit. They held the Ravens in M&T to 17 points. They held Aaron Rodgers to 24 in overtime. This defense is legit, and the Bengals are legit, and that's why they are currently your AFC number 1 seed. We smoking on that Humphrey pack. Let's get it.
Okay, let me go through some super chats here real quick. Cal Mullenkamp, like the damn video.
Mullenkamp. Yep, Mullenkamp, you got it.
Maystone 12. Bengals.
We got that first round bye, baby.
Okay.
Does that end that streak for y'all if y'all get the first round bye? Because it's first round, right? You guys have never had the bye before.
I don't know. We never had it before.
Because you guys didn't have it with AJ, right?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, and then there would be no other era in which you would have had a first round bye.
Okay.
No, the Boomer Esiason era.
Yeah.
That era.
Yeah, but they had won a playoff game by then. Like the 90s, they won playoff. They went to the Super Bowl in the 90s, right? But like
80s.
Yeah, we're talking 80s. But we're talking about like they have a streak that's been going on for like what, 30 years almost?
30 years, something like that, yeah.
It's older than me.
Trying to make me feel
Dakota Houndcomb says the thing about Joe Burrow is you might get him and beat him the first time, but he will remember you. If you embarrass Joe, he will return the favor.
They said he's circling those teams. They did say
that. What game?
Joe will remember that. What's that meme from? Joe will remember that. It's like a.
What game, Mr. Whisper Chat, what game on the Bengals remaining schedule could you see getting flexed right now? Also, Ace, who's on the O-line has impressed you the most so far?
I think if you're talking about a potential game, every day it seems like it's always been the Herbert Burrow debate. So it wouldn't surprise me if that game gets flexed with those two guys playing. As far as the offensive lineman that's impressed me the most, definitely Quentin Spain. Quentin Spain is playing at an elite level right now. I did not see this coming. I knew that Spain was a very good guard, but the way that he's playing this season against some great talent, I did not see this coming, so I would definitely say Quentin Spain.
Okay, Conman said 752. Shout out to you. Thank you for the donation. Regardless of how they got their win, the Bears being 5-2, with all their injuries, it's impressive how many teams will have the same record with similar numbers of injuries. Bears came out strong after byes usually, so not worried. Let me say something real quick. Ravens have a ton of injuries, but we need to just move past that because the injuries are not coming back. And yeah, I mean, we started good, but you started good with the injuries. And then when
I don't like this tweet. It's like too realistic, big picture thinking. Look, what we do here, okay, this is microscopic. Live in the moment. The Ravens suck. They're the worst team in the division. No one in this division has lost to Joe Burrow by as many points as Lamar Jackson and the Ravens did, and no one has gotten as embarrassed on their home floor as the Ravens have. And that is why the Ravens are clearly.
If I gotta read Browns fans emo poetry after we lose to the Cardinals at home, y'all gotta do so too. Y'all gotta freak out too. Y'all not out here about to be all dignified about this loss. No, I gotta see some misery, some pain, some quick decisions. Trade Marlon Humphrey, fire G-Roll, fire all the coaches, trade Harbaugh.
The D coordinator's got to go now. The D coordinator's got to go.
Wink's got to go.
It's purple, by the way. If y'all can't see that, if it looks black because of the lighting, it's purple.
I was like, that man drinking car oil.
Zach is really like Ted Lasso from Dakota. Shout out to you. And Dalton Cops here says the Bengals gave the league blueprint to beat Lamar. You
figured him out. Imagine Lamar and Mahomes getting figured out in the same year.
I heard that year one when the Chargers
every time Lamar loses, bro. Yeah. It's like, you got the blueprint.
Figured him out. The Bengals just have all
you have to do is have a wide receiver with 7,000 yards in 7 games, and you could beat the Ravens, baby. Like, real easy to beat the Ravens, right?
Let me talk about this damn game.
Sonny, how you feeling today?
You know what? I'm feeling okay. I was not in a good spirit on Sunday. I did
do it on Tuesday, so everybody gets a chance to.
Yeah, I did tweet to my guy Ace when the game was about to finish. Shout out to Ace. Team played better. I got a guy in Facebook here. Let me mention him. Eduardo Torres. He's a Bengals fan. He also. Bengals fans have been fairly good to me. I'm not gonna lie. They've been, nice. Not like they were cute. But hey, I'm gonna say some things here that they might hate, and I'm gonna say things that the Baltimore. You know what? If you're a Ravens fan, you saw my video. You probably know a couple of things that I'm gonna say. Let me start with Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson had an okay game. Rushing the ball, I think he should have rushed more. The running backs for the Ravens are doing shit. But this is not new. They haven't done anything in the past couple of games. And I do a segment after every game that is the good, bad, and the ugly. And one of my ugly is whoever thinks Le'Veon Bell should be in the field. Because Le'Veon Bell had a first down that he looked like he was running slower than what I run. He got the first down because the defense collapsed to the middle. And it was similar to the touchdown that he ran that nobody was there. So but he looked slow, right? So Le'Veon Bell, I said it for at least a year that I never thought, Ravens fans always wanted Le'Veon Bell. I never thought he was good fit for this offense. Okay. Lamar Jackson, I thought had a couple, at least 4 or 5 passes that he missed, that if he would have just made the throw, accurate throw, we would have got the first down, the touchdown, whatever. In the 4th and 7, which basically ended the game, that was before the Mixon rushing touchdown. He had Andrews on the flat, and I don't even know what he threw there. He was wide open, and he just missed it. And then in 4th and 7, it was just not good. So this game taught me, Bengals. Let me start with the Bengals. Again, a shout out to them. Play excellent game. Defensive. That front is good. That front, Ravens have problem with the front. The inside tackle, Ogunjobi had a good game, but the guy that was just a wreck was Hendrickson. He was manhandling Villanueva. And then as soon as Macari went out, and now he's out, I think, at least 6 games. So Phillips comes in, and the right side, whoever was on the right side, was manhandling Phillips. So now he was 2 rushers getting on the corners. So that was not good. But again, the D-line was really good for the Bengals. The linebacking core also really well. A guy that, I praised him before, Wilson. I thought he had a good game. The corners from the Bengals, I thought they were okay. they were not as good as 17 points, in my opinion. Again, I thought Lamar left points in the game, but they were good. I thought Bates, on the other hand, I didn't thought Bates had a good game. But that D-line definitely set the tone for that defense. That D-line set the tone for the whole defense, and you can see how they grasp on that. Lamar Jackson had pressure throughout the game, and he was sacked 5 times, as Ace mentioned. And this, I mean, I've seen this movie before, pressure. And then the one thing that they did well was there was a linebacker, not spying, but playing zone, watching when the pressure collapsed, trying to stop Lamar. Lamar still had 88 yards, right? And he broke one that obviously got called back. And by the way, Ravens fans, was it taunting? Yes, but who cares? To be fair, I hate that call. I hate the penalty. So who cares? You move on from that taunting call. So on the other side, let's talk about the Ravens defense here for a moment. I thought Joe Burrow, I guess offense/defense. I thought Joe Burrow, something that Ace mentioned, and I have to agree completely, he stands tall on the blitz. He did. Actually, on non-blitz pressures, he stands tall too. My problem, and I also agree with Ace when he says the Ravens got out coached, because my problem was, if you think about that first half, right? The Bengals scored 13 points, right? It was 1 touchdown on a missed tackle by Marlon Humphrey, and then 2 field goals. Chase was not doing a lot during that first half. Basically, second half was when he destroyed the Ravens. Okay. The Ravens in that first half was getting pressure to Joe Burrow, not sacking him, but getting pressure with 4 or 5 and playing man. And then the safeties were, playing more free, either just playing one in and the other one up, or cover 2, whatever. But they were playing press coverage, right? And the Bengals went after Averett, and Averett was balling, right? Any tight coverage on Averett, most of them would just either be pass deflected or whatever. Also, there was a couple early on Marlon. But for some reason, Mr. Wink, he said, you know what? We're not sacking this dude. We need to sack him. So let's blitz. And that's when the game just went completely to shit. They started blitzing, and not only blitzing, they start playing zone coverage. And the play that Ace showed, I actually disagree. It's not the same play defensively, not at all. If you go back and watch that play, Marlon Humphrey and whoever the other corner was there on the side, and the safety and the DN, or 4 effing player went to whoever was on the flat running the out route. All 4.
They thought it was going to be a screen.
They all hug, but the problem is this: if they're playing zone, cannot all 4 go against there, right? The safety came in, all 4, and Lozano was wide open. I probably could have made that throw. Wide open. Lozano had a good game, right? They had two big touchdowns. And then the play, the Chase make the touchdown. Horrible tackling. Marlon was there to make the play. I mean, the good pass from Joe Burrow. It should have been a catch. It should not have been a touchdown, right? If the Ravens just make the play, whoever was playing underneath basically took Marlon. Marlon tried to wrap Chase. It cannot. And then the safety also missed him. And then he goes for his touchdown, right? Ravens defense beat themselves in this game. And this is where the Bengals fans might not agree with me. I didn't think the Bengals did anything special on offense. And yes, Ace, you're going to say, 200 yards, 400, whatever. And yes, I mean, the stats are there. I cannot refute them. I also cannot refute that the touchdown passes that Joe Burrow, and again, I praise Joe Burrow because he stands tall on all those blitzes and the pressures. They were fairly easy touchdown passes, right? None of them were a touchdown. You're like, he threaded the needle there, and then he made the touchdown. Good passes. I'm not saying they were bad passes and they were lucky passes. I'm not saying that either. But like I said, the Uzama, Ravens beat themselves in the Uzama second touchdown. The first touchdown, Marlon Humphrey misses the tackle. Uzama makes a great play, touchdown. And then the Chase one, missed tackle. It was a good, 10-yard throw, 8-yard throw by Burrow, and Chase just
looked like the AJ Green one.
Breaks the tackle, right? I didn't even know if he breaks the tackle, but, missed tackle and goes. And the two, because the Ravens were, the only good thing they were doing on defense was stopping the run. And then on the Mixon run, great cutback by Mixon. The linebacking core, a guy that Tony loves. He ran in. He sees everybody crashing, and he's like, "You know what? The place over there. Let me." And he says, "F the gap. Who cares about the gap? Nobody cares about no stinking gap." So Mixon does cut back, touchdown, great run by Mixon. And then on the Pirine one, it was exactly the same call, exactly the same run, exactly the same cutback. And in that one, you can find my tweet. I said the Ravens quit, and I was pissed. That's what
Ravens did.
That's when Sonny needed to take a break because I was pissed when I see so shout out to the Bengals. They make the Ravens quit. But offensively, I don't know. Like, I agree defensively, super legit. Offensively, I mean, I think the Ravens beat themselves defensively more than there was anything special.
There was okay. I'll let you
Bengals.
finish and then I'll rebuttal to that.
But I thought the Ravens right now we have a problem with tackling, and I think Harbaugh put it greatly. If we're gonna be like this tackling, we're gonna be a mediocre defense, and I agree with that. I mean, there's just no escaping that, and we have been doing this all year. Go back to the Chiefs game, week 2, 2 touchdown passes, not as open as the Bengals. And it was just bad tackling and bad angles. I mean, I think I'm mentioning in this channel a bunch of times how the missed tackle and the bad angles have been killing us. So shout out to the Bengals because they took it to us in M&T Bank, punches in the mouth, won the game. And they show me that they have a hell of a defense. And I think they have a strong offense, an explosive offense. But I think in this game particularly, I think the Ravens defense beat themselves more than the Bengals offense did to us. Ace, go ahead, man, before I go to the super chats.
I was just going to say I disagree with that because the Bengals did something against the Ravens that they haven't done this whole season. Zach Taylor bringing C.J. Uzomah in the backfield with Samaje Perine to pass block against the Ravens blitzing offense. And I think anytime that you play one-on-one with the Bengals, that's what we want you to do. And that's why we picked up Uno, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd because we always know that we're going to have the advantage when it comes to that.
Yeah, so the only thing I will say, Ace, is in the first half, that was still happening. But the difference was they were pressing man, right? And there was no big plays. Other than the Uzomah one. That was a big play to Uzomah, deep, a great fake, great play action.
Yeah, because at first they didn't try to go to Marlon Humphrey. And then when they saw that Chase could beat Marlon Humphrey, that's when it completely changed.
I guess that's my point. That's where I disagree. Same thing with I said about Averett against the Colts. When these two corners, I think they're best when they press coverage. And as soon as Marlon Humphrey didn't press coverage, Chase, and they start playing zone, and then they start putting, Marlon stopped following him. That's even before he opened the game. That's when the ball started moving for the Bengals on the passing side. A lot. And I think the Ravens, I mean, this is something that I've been saying for a couple of weeks too, that they need to stop playing zone. I prefer them getting beat one-on-one, and as the receiver just beats their corner, right? If you need to put a safety over the top, I'll take that because right now on zone coverage, they look lost. There was a bunch of stuff, and I knew when they were doing zone coverage because before the snap, you can see Marlon and a couple of the other corners talking like, what is the actual play? And I'm here like, you guys look lost. This is pre-snap. You look lost. And that told me, okay, they're playing zone and they're not sure what zone they need to work, if they're playing 3/4 or where do they need to go to the zone defense. And I'm like, and this is why I think, in my opinion, that Wink specifically F this game. Because I think in the first half, they had a strong defensive plan and they changed. And I think
it didn't work. His plan wasn't working.
The first half, it was 13 points. What do you mean? And there was
how many sacks did they have?
But that was my point.
Nothing.
You know what? They can have 0 sack. They can have 0 sack and win the game.
He tried the same game plan from last year, and it did not work. It didn't work.
They could have had 0 sack, and they can win the game. With 0 sacks, it was 13 points. When they went and say, you know what? Let's just go all in and get the sacks. They got open. So, no, I disagree. I think 0 sacks, but they were containing. You can trade with the Bengals all day with field goals, and
you can hurt yourself by allowing 41 points. That's
well, I think what he's saying is in the first half, they only gave up 13, and they kind of switched to kind of get rid of some of these deep ball plays that the Bengals were able to get. And he felt like that cost them a lot more than it would have been if they would have just stuck with what they did in the first half. And to his point, they did only give up, like, the score only exploded about midway. Well, about 10 minutes left in the third quarter was when the score started to explode up. It was pretty normal affair there up until.
If you watch the Bengals, though, that 13 points for them at halftime is a lot of points. Like, they generally don't really.
Yeah, but 13 points
like
for any team at halftime is just a regular amount of points. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't look at it through what the Bengals have been doing.
I'm looking at it through the Bengals lens. Like, everybody that's a Bengals fan knows that our offense, in terms of converting, didn't do
coaches
do
for the
that
Ravens
like
aren't
that.
Bengal fans, so they're not going to look at it like that. So
anyway,
I get it.
Anyway, so the old thing I will say, because I'm gonna defer also to Q and Tony here after I know I have a slew of super chats.
Yeah, we got
please let me know.
Yep.
But the only thing I say is when the Ravens changed the defense, and Ace, you guys scored 13 points. I mean, you were winning in the halftime, 13-10. The only thing I will say is at halftime, I think if the Ravens would have stuck with the game plan, I think the Bengals would have scored. I'm not saying that they were gonna. Obviously, they hadn't shut them down. I just don't think it would have been that big of a margin, meaning that big of a plays being given. I think the Ravens basically said, nah, we're just going to blitz, because I think last year when we had Joe Burrow under sacking him, we beat them soundly. And I think Wink said, okay, let's go back to that. And back to that was not good. It was not good. Okay, so let me go here through a bunch of super chats. Again, I'm hoping I don't miss anyone. I think this is the first one. I'm only here for Q's emo.
Not my emo poetry. That wasn't me putting that stuff out there. That was various members of Brown's Twitter out there putting up poetry, crying. Oh, we were supposed to be a Super Bowl team, and then just like it was hilarious, man. If it weren't pathetic, it would have been hilarious. But it was kind of like a nice combination of both. Look forward to it, Raven fans, because y'all gonna hear some of this stuff because y'all lose like 2 games in a row. Sonny ain't got that chain no more. Y'all not protected by me, so I don't know what's gonna happen for the rest of y'all season.
Okay, so I have a couple super chats that I cannot bring on screen.
I got him.
Okay.
Well, you got him too?
I think the next one is from Ball So Hard.
Okay, so the next, so it's Nandon.
Okay,
Nandon says, $2 super chat says, Bengals fans settle down. It's week 7 only. Who day? So
okay.
I think Nandon is a Bengals fan, but saying Bengals fans need to calm down.
Okay, and after that, it's a Ball So Hard.
Again, I really don't like this kind of, big picture thinking here. Like, Bengals fans, like, you're the greatest team in the NFL right now. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, Cincinnati fans should be Super Bowl right now.
That's
and
right.
Raven fans should think they should trade everybody. You don't need to extend Lamar because you don't got enough around him right now. You might as well let Lamar work and rebuild. Just start over. You know what I mean?
Lamar's not
let
good.
Lamar go to Atlanta.
50% completion percentage.
Hey,
that's trash.
Tony,
the Trib,
running back.
Trib's got the next one. $2 super chat says, hey, Bengals dominated. Enough said. We'll be aight.
Okay. I cannot see none of that. So keep going until you get to this one on screen.
Well, then there's Ball So Hard.
Okay. Can you read that one?
Yeah, Ball So Hard, $5 super chat says, I didn't understand why the Ravens tried to go deep so much this game. The running game is trash. The Ravens were outcoached and outplayed. Go Ravens.
That's something. Let me also add that. That is something that the Ravens have been doing because they won that big splash play. And again, that works if protection is there. But protection was not there through the game because, as I mentioned, and I give credit to the Bengals D-line, they play a hell of a game. So obviously the ball had to come on quick. It was a great pass to Hollywood Brown over there in the corner of the end zone. Big pass. But other than that, I mean, Lamar got sacked a lot of the times also because he is, and I said this, I think last week, he's holding the ball, looking for the big play, and there's a lot of green in front of him. He just needs to go and take it. And I think he wants to make the play, and that, I mean, that's fine. I think we talked about this last week or when we were there in Orlando, that he just sometimes needs to tuck and go. But he wants to make the big play, and I get it. But right now, the O-line is not playing to make that big play.
All right. Next super chat here is from Shane Garrett. $5 super chat. Appreciate that. Says Ravens could have been 2-4 coming into this game. Cincy games versus Jaguars and Chicago should also temper excitement. In my opinion, Browns offensive line and defensive line will beat both.
2 weeks. Let's get it.
I can't.
I mean, if Case Keenum playing, bro, I don't
Let's
care
go.
who on either line for the Browns. Like, he ain't gonna put up.
I don't care if it's Case, Baker, LeBron, bring them all.
I mean, we got LeBron out there, bro. We might win. I'm just saying, LeBron can pass that. LeBron can sling it. LeBron can sling it.
Any other one?
Yeah, Magestone12 with a $2 super chat says Lamar losing to the Bengals shows the Ravens should not pay.
Okay. Keep going because we're going to lose all the super chats.
Okay, so then we have the one you have here. Allmac2, $10 super chat says, I think that's a cop-out, Sonny. There's a number of times when your defense was wrong because the offense made you wrong. We watched it on that Uzoma touchdown where you guys overplayed the screen.
They were playing the screen. They thought that it was going to be a screen to Uzoma.
I don't disagree, but when you have 4 people,
Chase goes up to block. They thought that it was a screen.
If you had 2 people going there, that would have been a good play by the defense. But you have 4, obviously there's a miss play. Anyway, keep going because again.
Okay, then we got the Trib. The Trib's $10 super chat. Appreciate that, Trib. Says the Ravens are a bottom 10 talent team currently, but we got Lamar and he covers a lot of holes. This was a reality check.
Yeah,
everything is dumped on Lamar. It's not on Lamar. It's about the talent around him. And I think honestly, is that an evergreen Ravens comment? Like you could say that after every Ravens loss for the last 3 years.
Yeah. I agree. Keep going because this is the next one that I can see, Tony.
Michael Stone. Yeah, this is the next one. So this is $5 super chat. Yep.
Okay. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for the donation. 41-17. Man, one of these teams stink. Okay. Can't wait to play the Bengals again. By the way,
he can't wait either.
Ace. How much credit does Marion Hobby or Hub? How do you pronounce that?
Marion Hobby.
Okay. Deserves for the line success. Is it more talent or scheme? Many thoughts this line was so at first.
I think it's Marion Hobby. I mean, I talked about that, I think, on the D-Line show. A lot of people weren't familiar with him. He went down to Miami, turned them around. Bengals hired him this season. I think Marion Hobby is definitely a big factor when it comes to that because he's just got a kind of a storied history of turning some of those units around. So I think that is definitely Marion Hobby. I think the scheme is for the most part still the same. It was Lou's scheme, but just better talent in there. And Marion Hobby was actually recruited by DJ Reader, who a lot of people don't know. So DJ Reader actually recommended that they bring in Marion Hobby, and he's definitely been vital to the success.
He ain't got shit on Stump Mitchell.
Here we go.
Okay, so who wants to take it, Tony or Q?
Yeah. All right. Okay. Bengals fans, I come in peace. Oh yeah. I said on Friday's live show, I said there are 4 potential outcomes for this game. Right? There is Ravens win close, Bengals win close, Ravens win in a blowout, and all 3 of those you could realistically see happening. The one that you really probably can't see happening is a Bengals blowout, and then here we are today, and we're talking about a 41-17 absolute shellacking at the hands of the Baltimore Ravens. And I did, of course, like everyone who watched this game, you have to come away at the end of the game and you're like, holy crap, the Bengals have arrived. They're the best team in the North right now. And this is a team that's gone to Pittsburgh and won. They've now gone to Baltimore and won. They have a 2-0 division record. They have the tiebreakers over Baltimore. The next time they play Baltimore, by the way, that will be in Cincinnati. But I have to say, okay, the Bengals defense is legit. Let's start there. Let's just start there before I get into my problems with the Bengals. The Bengals defense is a very good defense. This is a top defense in the league. This is a defense that has been consistent week in and week out. And I don't think there's anything you could say about this defense where you say, oh, well, you can expose it in these ways. I think they're solid everywhere you want to be. On that defensive line, as you guys talked about, they set the tone in this game for Lamar Jackson and that Ravens team. The Ravens were not going to get going. Running the football was going to make Lamar Jackson more quote unquote one-dimensional, though he could, he's still obviously a threat with his legs, but this wasn't going to be a game where Tyson Williams or Le'Veon Bell or any of those guys got going. So, and then of course their secondary, even though, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw PFF gave Jesse Bates like an all-time bad grade, but which I always think is cute in games like this where, the defense had so much success, but their best player, not good. So their defenses look good, but here's my problem offensively. Okay, well, let's just start here. This was not a blowout. This was not a blowout. We have to stop talking about this game as if the Bengals blew out the Ravens. They did not. This was not a blowout. The Ravens did that to themselves. I talked about this last week. When you get into these high variance situations where you are either the Ravens had a choice at the beginning of the fourth quarter in this game. They could either attempt to win this game or lose a close one, right? And they recognized that, and they started going for it on fourth down in their own territory. So they knew we're either going to try and go out and win this football game, or we're going to get blown out at this point. Because if we don't make these fourth downs here, we're getting blown out today. But this was not a traditional blowout. I don't come away from this game saying, man, the Bengals are, 24 points better than the Bengals? No, sorry. The Ravens are just as good a team as the Bengals right now. In fact, if these two teams played again tomorrow in the exact same environment, I would say this game would be very close, just like this game was for the majority of the game outside of that fourth quarter. But the Bengals offensively are doing this thing, and I said this on Friday's show. They just keep doing this thing where they just pull these big plays out of their ass. They just go, hey, Zach, call the 80-yard touchdown play, and then here it is, and it's the 80-yard touchdown play. And as a Steeler fan who sat around for the last 2 years saying that this Steeler team who got 60 turnovers in 2 years, hey man, this is just going to keep happening. I know turnovers are not a thing you can count on every week, but guess what? You can count on them with the Steeler defense because that's what they do. They go out there and they get turnovers. There's no variance to that. That is just a fact. Watch the tape. It's there every single week. And you know what happened when the tape stopped, when the music stopped, when the turnover stopped coming? The Steelers lost 4 of their 5 games last year without a turnover. Okay, and this year, when they can't get a turnover, they lose football games. When the music stops and Jamar Chase stops running for these absurd, and by the way, every Jamar Chase touchdown is more absurd than the last, and this one was no exception to that. When that stops, what is this Bengals team left with offensively? They're still not consistent offensively and moving the football. They still started this game, again, that first drive, the 8 plays, they didn't go for it on fourth down. They end up punting. They settled for that 52-yard field goal instead of going for it on fourth down early in this football game. They had consecutive 3-and-outs to start this football game. Again, look, I'm not going to sit here and say that the Bengals are a bad football team. Don't get me wrong. The Bengals are still good. But much like I learned last year, okay, your record, it does not equal how good you are on the football field. Look, watch this football team and tell me that they are really, really the best team in the league. I know they have the best record, but do we really believe today that the Bengals are really the best football team in the AFC? Because there's no way I'm going to say that. And Bengals fans, if you really believe that, I would say this: go put your money on it, because you can get a big payout if this team really is the best team in the AFC. In fact, I'll go even further. I don't think the Bengals right now are the best team in the AFC North, and neither does Vegas. Vegas has the Bengals right now today as not the second best team in the AFC North, the third best team in the AFC North. That's today right now. You go to any sports book in America right now, and your odds you will get are the third best odds in the AFC North. So if you think that this team is better than the Ravens, and if you think this team is better than the Browns, certainly they're better than the Steelers, go and bet it. Again, I'm with Vegas, though. I'm going to sit here today, and I'm going to say that this Bengals team reminds me a lot of how the Steelers won last year. High variance, but what happens when that variance stops? What are you left with at the end of the day when these Jamar Chase and these crazy long touchdowns stop coming, and you have to go and you have to put together 10 and 12 play drives consistently in football games? Is this offense ready to do that? Maybe they evolve into it, but today, as we sit here, the team I continue to watch, I'm not ready to put this team among the elite. Are they a playoff contender? Certainly. If they keep winning this way, sure. Then I'll eat crow in a couple weeks. But today, as I sit here, I still think they're either the second or third best team in the AFC North. And when we talk about them as a contender in the AFC, I would consider them one of these outside teams in the AFC that really isn't a true contender, but they could be frisky when it comes to be playoff time. And I know that's not going to be a popular opinion today, and I'm willing to eat the crow on this a couple weeks from now if I get proven wrong. But today, as I sit here, I think the Bengals are like the 7th best team in the AFC.
Ooh, I think they're a playoff team. I think they could win the AFC North, to be honest. But especially right now, they're 2-0. But yeah, I mean, I agree with some of your takes on offense. Let me go here, super chats, before I lose them again. John Hay says, message from Myles Garrett to Joey B. I must break you.
Dog. Spell Miles right, though, with the Y, man. It's not Miles.
What's it?
Like Miles Davis.
Flight Team 2220, you all are trying to downplay that trash. Who they? Quincy, y'all next. I wish Zim was here. But in
Bengal fans coming at me like I didn't predict this to a point.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
I was the only one willing to say Bengals plus a margin of over 3.5 points. By the way, last week, if there was anybody who came close, because Ace said 30-34, right? I said Bengals by 10.
You did say Bengals by 10.
Yeah, you did. Tanya Bowman, shout out to you. Thank you for the donation. Lamar is not the problem in the Ravens. Stop shopping at the thrift store. Drafting 6 and 7 round picks, trying to turn them into superstars. We don't lose games. We always winning. We don't lose games. We always winning. We can't get welfare help.
You don't lose enough games to get like those early round picks.
Gotcha.
So you can't get that welfare help.
I know that feel.
So I would say this, Tanya. I don't think Lamar's a problem. And whoever's saying Lamar's a problem, they can. I haven't been watching the chat other than
50% completion percentage. You're okay with this? You're just gonna live with 50% completion percentage?
I'll take it.
You got figured out this week, Sonny.
I think he did. Jared 011 Green says in 2019 the Browns put up 40 on us the same way.
That's a great segue.
We could not stop Jarvis or Shubb due to defensive hiccups. This loss is what we need. I forgot about that. Anyway,
well, I was watching this game, right? And there came that, I don't know if it was the fourth quarter. I think it was the fourth quarter. It was late in the third quarter where Joe Burrow, who, by the way, throwing a healthy amount of interceptions this year. I'm just going to point that one out there when we're talking about guys being better than Lamar. He is doing the Jameis right now where he's like top 5 in touchdowns and interceptions, or the Baker, you know what I mean? Where Baker did both too in his rookie year. So, there's a healthy amount of guy who went long time without interception. He has gone game after game after game with the interception here. So after that 3 interception game for him. So that's something to look out for, but obviously you're winning, so it doesn't matter the interceptions when you're winning. But he threw that red zone interception. It's something that, like, if you don't win this game by the margin that the Bengals win this game by, it is a thing, but like somehow it's not a thing. Like, we have not mentioned this. He threw a red zone interception, and the Ravens were able to get the ball back. And the Ravens, I think at that point, were only down 10, right?
Yeah.
After the red zone interception.
Yep.
And
I think they were down 17. I think.
No. They were down 10. I remember
it was for the camera.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because I hated on that too. That was bullshit.
Yeah, it was 10. Yeah, because they mugged for the camera down 10. And Raven tweeted it. I remember being like, "Oh yeah, Bengals literally by 10 right now." But it was that drive where I was like, "Okay, this is where the Ravens bring this thing in closer at the fourth quarter, and it's going to become that tight game that we all expected." And then that drive that they had there was just so bad. I think they got the 4th and 1 initially, but on like 3rd and 1, they went 45 yards downfield to a triple covered Marquise Brown. And by the way, it's like the 5th time Lamar's done that, and a couple of times it's gotten intercepted. That's telling me that's not a read, right? That's just throw that thing up to Marquise Brown and see what can happen. Play there. That's a dangerous way to live in the NFL, but they're going to do that, and sometimes it works, right? But yeah, that drive there where they weren't able to convert there and they got shut out on 4 downs there. That's where the Bengals won the game. Like after that moment, this game got out of control, right? That was the Nick Chubb touchdown in 2019 where it was like, all right, right? The Ravens felt good. They got an interception. They got a touchdown. They brought that thing up to the 10 points, and then Nick Chubb screams downfield, scores a touchdown. The game's no longer close. Put the backups in. Dearness Johnson gets a touchdown. So that was kind of like what this game reminded me of, was that 2019 Browns-Ravens game where it was a blowout technically, but like it was a real close game up until that. Now, this is a little different because the Bengals had a 10-point lead like in the 3rd quarter, so it's a little different than that. But yeah, I think that drive right there, that's where the Bengals defense made their stand and they won that game, right? That's where I can't say it was mostly the Ravens playing bad. No, the Ravens played bad. Lamar didn't play good, but we know what the deal is with the Ravens, right? They're going to need Lamar to be superhuman to beat some of these better teams in the NFL. And if he's not, then they have a problem there. And he was not superhuman on Sunday, right? And when that's the case, it's hard to win with this team. And look, we've been talking about injuries with this team. And I do think that does matter with this team because they have piled up to such a ridiculous point that we all knew the wheels had to come off of this thing at some point, right? Like me and Tony were joking about it. They are 5-1 right now. It's impossible for us to be like, oh, they're not going to be good. But the wheels have to come. You are playing Andrew Villanueva at left tackle after the Steelers thought he was too bad on one of the worst offensive lines in football right now. Like, you are playing with scraps right now around him. Dudes who ain't been in the NFL in 3 years are out here getting snaps in games. Le'Veon Bell. Why are we talking about Le'Veon Bell in the NFL game? Because the Ravens are that depleted injury-wise at their core. And credit to Lamar and credit to the Ravens because they held it together. Credit to the chain, credit to Quincy. But, you know, because the Ravens held it together for about 5 weeks and they fooled us. They made us think, you know what? Maybe it's just that magic. Maybe they ain't going to be worried about these injuries. Maybe these things, maybe losing Marcus Peters didn't really matter that much. Maybe all these injuries, you know, all this stuff that they got going on, maybe they're able to get it. They're playing Josh Bynes, for God's sake. Like, they're depleted. But it finally caught up with them, right? Like the not having Marlon Humphreys is Marlon Humphreys. We kind of know what he's good at, what he's not. I mentioned this on Friday. Marlon kind of struggles with them dudes who can burn him downfield. Like if you can get a hand off of him and you can be physical and get off of that press with Marlon, you can beat him downfield. I've seen Rashad Bateman do it. I've seen a lot of guys do it to him, not on a consistent basis because you have to be really good to do it, but you can do it to him. He doesn't have great long speed, and it turned out Jamar Chase had enough long speed against him. So, you know, Jamar Chase, ain't nothing you can say bad about Jamar Chase right now. Jamar Chase is looking like the best wide receiver in like the last 5 years in football. So, you know, you got to give credit to him. But he won that battle, and there was no Marcus Peters there, right? There was no switch up there stylistically where you're like, all right, Marlon don't got him. Let's see if Marcus can get him. Let's see if Marcus can play better on him, right? So you don't have that switch up there. It ends up getting out of control. The depth in the secondary is allowing all of these big plays to happen downfield. You're having miscommunication. Patrick Queen still not good at football. Like all of these things are just coming up now, and they're coming to a head. And, you know, it's things that we thought were going to have come and impact them a lot earlier, but, you know, it took some time, I guess, for these things to really affect them. And the Bengals were able to put enough stress on that defense to expose a lot of the flaws that they have there because they have so much firepower offensively. And like, let's not downplay how much firepower the Bengals do have. The offensive line was the big question. Everything else wasn't. We knew that they had good wide receivers. We knew that they had 3 very good wide receivers. It was part of the reason why we didn't think they should draft Jamar Chase because we thought they were already loaded at wide receivers. Well, they draft a dime in Jamar Chase on top of guys who are already really good. We thought were already top caliber receivers. And then you have Joe Mixon waiting back there. Joe Burrow's been playing at a high level, despite some of the interceptions he's been throwing. He's been making up for it with touchdowns and playmaking and just coming back on it. And you're playing really good football. This is part of the reason why I said the Bengals were playing better football overall than the Ravens were coming into that game. It was just the Ravens had the better player. Just turned out the better player didn't really show up and play like the better player. You know, he got outplayed on multiple levels in that game. So, you know, this isn't doom and gloom for the Ravens because Lamar didn't get hurt, and Lamar is the key to your season, and Lamar's going to play better than he did next week, right? Or whenever he does play next. He's probably going to have a better game some point in the season. Like, it's not over for the Ravens, but the limitations are there, right? It's going to be one of those things, you know, it's like with Case Keenum. When you play Case Keenum versus the Denver Broncos and you only got to score 17 points to win, the limitations really ain't going to show up, and you're going to think Case Keenum is fine. But if you play Case Keenum versus the Bengals and you can't score 30 points, you know, then all of a sudden it's going to feel really terrible having Case Keenum. It's the same thing with the Ravens. They have injuries. They have a ton of things wrong with them. And yeah, against some teams, it ain't really showed up. But the Bengals brought not only they had a good offensive line performance, but also they had the weapons to stress them out defensively. And then on the Bengals defensive side, they've been getting pressure, and give all the credit to them because I hated all of that defensive line acquisition in the free agents. It was part of the reason I was down on the Bengals. I was like, man, I don't like anything like Larry Ogunjobi, Trey Hendrickson, and then Sam Hubbard. Like, I like Sam Hubbard, but like, I don't think Sam Hubbard should start. But, you know, I was wrong on that one. Trey Hendrickson has been good. Larry Ogunjobi He's being used in the right way. I didn't expect the Bengals to do them right, but they did them right. And they're doing right by the players they have on the roster. They don't have a blockbuster unit there defensively, but what they do have is a well-coached unit, a well-put-together unit that is making up for each other. They probably have one star in that defense, and it's Jesse Bates. And depending on who you're talking to on a week-to-week basis, he either is playing at a star level or he's horrible, or what PFF wants to say he was, right? It just is like that with safeties, by the way, with PFF grades. They're very unreliable. But, so they're just playing good football right now. Now, how long does this last for the Bengals? What part of what Tony said is true. The way they are getting points on offense, it reminds me of like the Chargers last year, where it was mad volatile. So volatile how Justin Herbert was scoring all of these points that you thought, there's no way this is going to carry over. Like, he's going to throw like 8 interceptions at the end of the year. The law of averages has to come out and bear this out. The thing with the Bengals is that Joe's already throwing the interceptions. They're just scoring more. So, I guess it works. If it works, it works. And, they got the firepower to do it. It is going to be interesting to see how long teams are just going to sit on these routes with Jamar Chase when they know Jamar is going to be able to burn him if he gets a hand on the ball. Yeah. That's one of the things, because again, another play where Jamar kind of got the ball, spun out of coverage, and nobody else was back there behind him, behind Marlon Humphrey. So they're still leaving him one-on-one, squatting on certain stuff, playing it short. And I get it, Joe doesn't have the arm strength, but now with Jamar Chase, you guys got to respect the deep threat just because he's Jamar Chase. So this is a good win for the Bengals. Congratulations to the Bengals. They deserve every bit of praise that they're going to get right now. Now, is this going to hold up to the end of the year? Have no idea. I don't think any of these teams right now where they're at are where they're going to be at the end of the year at all, record-wise or at all playing-wise. I think all of these teams have a lot of growth or regression to go through. So we don't know which way it's going. With the Browns, I don't know at all which way that's going to go, because I don't know who the quarterback's going to be for the rest of the year. With Steelers, good luck guessing what they're going to do. The same thing with the Ravens and the same thing with the Bengals. Still don't have a good handle on anybody. But what we do know is that the Bengals are better than what we thought they were coming in to the season, and that is worth something. I mean, give it to whatever you want to say about how the Bengals won this game, who performed which way, whatever you can say about it. Nobody predicted this. Nobody predicted the Bengals to go 2-0 in the division this early. Nobody predicted the Bengals to only have 2 losses at this point. No matter what you can say about them, whether you had low expectations or high expectations, even if you had high, even the Bengal fans out there that was hyped all year, y'all didn't expect this, because y'all not acting like people who expected this. Y'all way too excited to act like y'all expected this. So I know none of y'all didn't expect this. Nobody thought this is where the Bengals would be. So congratulations to the Bengals right now, man. Y'all really doing the thing right now.
Yeah, I'll also say I would disagree with Tony on this. I do think Bengals are a playoff team. I do think they have that.
They're the 7th best team in the AFC. I said they're playing. Yeah, they are a playoff.
I think they have a legit shot to win the AFC North. So, and then the other thing I forgot to mention, the Bengals. You know where the Bengals dominated the Ravens, which usually I talk about this first. Trenches. The Bengals dominated. I think that was the most impressive part of this game. Yeah. They dominated the trenches by a long shot. I mean, it was
the Bengals defense is legit. There's no doubting anything they're doing defensively.
The O-line had his moments. I would say the O-line of the Bengals had his moments, because Jonah had trouble a little bit with Justin Houston for a portion of the game. But for the most part, the O-line played solid, or they made the adjustments. So I would say the trenches for the Bengals on both sides definitely won the game. They were spectacular. Aquila the Great. My question is when do Bengals prove it? They're a field goal away from beating the Packers and dominated the Ravens. Bengals control the game. I think they proved that they're a good team. I think
we missed one. Did we miss one super chat?
Did we? I thought I put that because
the Jared Green one. Did we
did that one. We did that one.
Okay.
I think the Bengals already proved that they're a good team. If that is the argument, I think we all acknowledge the Bengals are a good team. Prove it what? That they're a Super Bowl contender? That would be for something you have to do for a longer period.
I mean, they've definitely proven that they're a team to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't one of those teams where you're like, oh, they're like, it's not like Denver early in the year where like they were 3-0 and nobody thought Denver was actually good, right? You know, like I remember when we were talking about Teddy Bridgewater leading the league in QBR, I was like, that's one of them things that's going to regress to mean, right? Like he's got to have a couple of terrible games in a row now because he's not going to stay that way the rest of the season. Now, this is a team that's going to be taken seriously for the rest of the year.
AJNM says, Quincy, your Browns are only team that haven't played the Bengals yet. Do you think your team can beat the Bengals?
If Baker play, yeah.
Okay. Michael Stones here says, with Tony's input, I bet Bengals fans are shopping at a bit to play and beat Steelers again, Pittsburgh again.
If Bengals fans actually thought they were as good as they were, you wouldn't care about playing Pittsburgh because that's an easy win.
Ian Whitaker here. Go ahead.
One of them wins you don't even get credit for now.
Yeah, it's like playing the friggin' Lions. Like, again, if the Bengals much like Quincy and I are going to talk about on Friday, right? This is very much a perception about who you act like, who you think you are. Okay, if you really do believe you're one of these best teams in the AFC, why are you looking down? Why are you punching down at the Steelers? Like the Steelers right now, my Steelers are not doing anything.
The Steelers have always punched down on us.
Yeah.
I'm about to say
you
now.
guys were on top. You punched
now,
down.
Tony, are you exposing that Steelers fans have not been confident about these teams? Because I quite remember a lot of punching down.
Steelers fans felt bad for years. Okay, it was like, the poor little Bengals, the poor little Browns down there.
Y'all weren't feeling bad when Antonio Brown was out here putting his face in Spencer Landon's face mask.
Listen, during the 2017 season, let me tell you something. Not a Steeler fan out there was circling the Browns and Bengals that year, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, we had our sights set on teams like the Patriots, who were thought of as the best teams in the AFC. I'm sorry. No one was like, I can't wait for Steelers Browns this year, so we go watch them beat them by 60. No, that was not a game that was on my schedule. Like, can't wait for that one. No, you know who I wanted to play that year? I wanted to see the Steelers play the Patriots. Yeah, I forget who else was great that year. I think the Ravens were good that year. Wanted to play the Ravens. Those were the teams that I had my sights set on.
Okay.
You guys ever beat the Patriots? Or did they?
That year we beat the Patriots.
In the regular season, they did. They just never did in the postseason.
In the
I would
postseason.
say this: Bengals fans, you punch down all you want. You punch down all you want.
They got the same record.
Enjoy the moment.
Enjoy the moment versus Bill Belichick in the postseason than he does against the Browns.
But Bengals fans, Browns fans, you want to punch down, you do your thing. You enjoy the moment. Ian Whitaker says
it's okay to punch down, but like with what Tony's saying, like I don't think Bengals fans, I don't think Ace is like, oh man, can't wait for that Steeler game. Like
yes,
this week the Browns play the
You don't
Steelers.
think I want to sweep the Steelers? What?
Okay, well that's okay. That you haven't had the two wins. Okay, that makes sense.
Aspect of it, I understand. That is.
For me, it's just like if Case Keenum going to play, I'm intrigued to see what the Browns can do against the Steelers. I think they should still win. I'm not trying to spoil Friday's show or anything, but like I'm much more intrigued by like the week after's matchup. But it's still the Steelers, so you still be excited about it.
Yeah. Ian Whitaker here says it's looking like a villain plotting his revenge here in y'all. And that's good. I mean,
I did not slander the Bengals all show.
He did not slander at all.
And leave me out of this because I catch strays from Bengals fans for what y'all be saying. I don't be saying none of it.
Okay.
I just be.
You said go to Vegas, Tony.
I did.
Vegas has been pretty wrong about the Bengals this season.
Well, then listen. Then you go. Then every Bengals fan out there can make a living this year on how wrong they are. What I'm trying to say is I lived through this last year, Bengals fans. Okay, I'm trying to, I'm the big warning sign out there, right? The light at the end of the tunnel. I get it. It looks great right now. Okay. But much like the Steelers last year, who were winning games in a odd fashion to start the year, once the music stopped, there was no seat to sit in. Okay. So that's all I'm saying for Bengals fans right now is I understand, look, I'm not saying don't enjoy this moment. Obviously, like they beat the crap out of the Ravens. Okay, the scoreboard was probably not indicative of the game that was played, but hey, have your fun with it. What I'm saying though is like when we get ahead of ourselves today and we start saying like the Bengals are the best team in the AFC North, the Bengals are the best team in the AFC, and we start saying that week after week. Like again, that's a fun thing. It's a fun troll to say to one another. But do we really believe that today? That's my question. Do Bengals fans really believe that they're the best team in the AFC?
I think we do because in these games that we've gone 5-2, people that have watched the Bengals know that this is the first complete game that we put together.
I would say this
because I haven't played them.
I would say this: if you're a Bengals fan, and then shout out to the Bengals, you guys won this game. I'm not even. I had never.
The first time we scored 30 was last week.
Okay,
and
but
we just scored this, so we don't think that we have this amazing team.
I'm not trying to take anything away from the victory, Tony. And the other thing I will say, if you're a Bengals fan, how do you not think you're the best team in the AFC North? Think about this. Well, let's talk about the AFC North first, and then because none of us we can say you're the best team in the AFC, right? Let's talk about the North because that's the first thing you need to do, right? You bid your division. You say the Steelers are inconsequential, irrelevant. Okay, so let's take the Steelers away from the conversation. But then you have a Browns team that has a quarterback injury that you don't know if he's going to be playing healthy throughout the year. So if he's not playing healthy, if you're a Bengals fan, you're looking at the Browns like, we can beat them if Baker's not playing. If Baker's playing, we'll see. It's a toss-up maybe. But if Baker's not playing, we can beat them. And then you look at the Ravens, you're like, we just went to their stadium and beat them. So why would you not feel confident if you're the Bengals?
Right? Yeah, I get why they're confident. I'm just saying, like, from the outside looking in, if you want an outside perspective, right now, I think a lot of people are looking at the Bengals like, they're serious, they're a team to take serious, but this is more fun. I don't know if I'm like, oh man, I don't want to play the Bengals. Like if I had Case Keenum out there, I'd be like, I don't really want to play the Bengals this week. But if I feel like I could put up points, I still think that's a team that that the Browns could beat. But maybe they beat the Browns, and maybe I feel differently after that game. But still, to me, the team that would make me more nervous is still Baltimore, just because I know for a fact what Lamar is, and I know that Browns have had no success in virtually like 3 years, other than one fluke victory. That was kind of like the same deal here, where it was like a blowout, but it wasn't a blowout. And I know that's really the hurdle that the Browns need to get over is Lamar Jackson. So that's just what the focus is.
And the Bengals just did it.
The Bengals have the most 40-yard plays in the league at 9, and they have, and that's ahead of Seattle, who has 6. They have the most 40-yard touchdowns at 7. 7 of those 9 plays went for touchdowns. The second place team there, also Seattle, with 4. I mean, they're nearly doubling second place. Now, again, if you believe that that's going to continue going forward, then I'm gonna look like a massive idiot here in like 10 weeks, right? When this team goes on to easily win the division and is a 1 or 2 seed in the playoffs. What I'm sitting here saying though is like I see the writing on the wall here. I thought when the Steelers were 11-0 last year, it was like it's not a question of when I'm going to go watch the Steelers home game. It's a question of when, and just is it going to be after the bye week? It's all that, and then everything fell apart after that.
Okay, so we have a couple super chat here. Russ,
we have a lot.
Yeah, 520 yards of total offense. Second team coming on the field in the fourth quarter, but not an explosive offense showing. I don't think we said there wasn't. There was 3 explosive plays, right? All 5 touchdowns were explosive plays.
Well, I mean, how many explosive plays do you really need to have an explosive showing? Though I think 3. You know what I mean? Like 3's enough. Like,
but all touchdowns was long touchdowns, right? All
that's 21 points.
Yeah,
they were all long touchdowns.
The Dog Pound. I cannot put yours because it went out. But it says Q. Browns are the only team that haven't played a divisional game. Do you think offensive defensive play calling has been vanilla so AFC North teams can easily scheme?
This is one of those things that if you don't follow the Browns closely sounds ridiculous. Like the ideal that a coach would do such a thing is ridiculous. But
ridiculous.
Kevin Stefanski does this stuff. Like he did this last year. He did this last year when he thought he had to play the Steelers twice, because he literally said at his press conference when they asked him, did you hold back some plays this week knowing that you would have to play the Steelers next week? Yeah. Yeah, and that was a game the Browns needed to get in, and he held back plays. Like, I don't know if it's like being super scared or like weird about it, or if it's just balls, but he does stuff like this. And if you looked at how this offense has been called, even with Baker Mayfield in there healthy the first half of this year, with Case Keenum, the play calling is going to be what it is. It's Case Keenum out there. You ain't going to you ain't going to waste no good plays on Case Keenum. And no disrespect to Case Keenum, but it would seem like there has been less of a punch there with the offensive play calling that was there at the later part of last year. And as ridiculous as it sounds, I don't know if it's 100% true that he's holding back plays, but there is some truth to it. Like there is an element of this offense that has definitely been held back. I mean, come on, they've gone games where like Odell was like literally the only receiver on the field, and he's still getting targeted twice because it's just not going downfield. And that's not how he attacked last year. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in the second half. Baker's supposed to practice this week. We'll see what that means. I think that means he's probably gonna maybe play next week against the week after against the Bengals. But we'll see what that means there, and we'll see if he opens it up this week against a division opponent, because I think the offense does need to get opened up, because sometimes they be a little predictable.
The trip here, and I'm hope if I miss anything, guys, let me know. Bengals.
No, you're right. Trip is next. Yep.
When they can be consistent winners in the AFC North and they are legit competing for a Super Bowl, that will come, but we aren't there yet. Okay.
We'll see. Joey B era has started. We'll see about that.
Certainly, I mean that much.
And we used to all the time back in the day. It's been 5 years, but we back now.
Okay.
Yeah, the Bengals are like a legit. The Bengals are a legitimately good team. It's just a question of like how good at this point.
Ravens Nation here says at least one Ravens fan needed to show up for Sunny. Ravens flock, we gonna be all right. Shout out to the Ravens fan. They show up, and again, I will say this. Shout out to the Bengals fan as well. If you're cocky, that's fine. You winning the division.
Roman don't need to be calling plays.
Last week it was 5-0. Lamar owns y'all. Cycle that.
What I'm saying is, if you wanna be cocky, it's all good. You guys,
we're not cocky. We're just confident right now.
Yeah, that's essentially the same thing. But
if you were in this season and the Chiefs look like they kind of fell off, and the Raiders are the number 2 seed right now, there's no Tom Brady anymore from all those years back when there was Belichick. How would you feel right now?
I'd put a chef's hat on.
There's a lot of hammers to drop. I that's how I would feel. I'd be like, man, there's a lot of shit to go down here. If the Raiders,
when I saw the Titans take off on the Chiefs like that, I'm like, okay,
Chiefs going to trade for somebody. It's going to be.
Titans are a weird team, not to derail, but like the Titans,
I trust none of these results right now in the AFC.
Can't get a read on them.
Okay, it says 101 blue. Shout out to you. Thank you for the donation. Burrow is coming off major knee reconstruction still. Jamar is a rookie who didn't play football last year. Bengals haven't even come close to reaching their final form yet. This is going to be fun. Hey, I mean, again, I think they can win the AFC North. I'm not here saying that they cannot. I do think they can win the AFC North.
Possible.
But are they the favorite? Would you put them as the favorite to win the AFC North today?
Why not right now?
Think the way that it's played out, with Baker hurt. Like, I think if the Browns were still healthy and the Ravens were fully healthy, but I mean, look at the situation for what it is right now. I don't think it's far-fetched to say it given the circumstances. But if you were to say that with Baker fully healthy, Ravens fully healthy, if the Steelers were playing at an elite level, then no, it wouldn't be that easy. But the situation is what it is. It's just kind of playing into our hands right now.
This is what I will say, Tony. Bengals are 2-0 in the AFC North. Ravens are 0-1. Not only that, the 2 losses the Bengals have are against two teams that who cares that they lost against them? They're NFC teams. So for tiebreaker purposes, they are way ahead, right?
They have all the tiebreakers in the AFC right now. Yeah.
I have a question for Ace and for Bengals fans.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have this conversation with Browns fans all the time, right? I have always said the prediction you make for what you think this team should be at the beginning of the year is the most useless prediction in all of sports, because depending on how you get there, you may not be happy with how you get there. So let's say the Bengals finish this year out a game above 500. You feel like somebody should get fired?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the circumstances, though. Like, if somebody goes down, like
no, like they just lose, like healthy, like they they got the same team they got now. They only finished the game above 500, missed the playoffs.
You got to get rid of somebody, so that would be they don't win any more games this season.
No, like they don't. They finish one game above 500. Not like 500? They don't. I'm not saying they're gonna finish like 4, but like what did they finish? Like what would it be? 9-8.
9-8. It would be 9-8 at this point. So it would be 4 and.
I think that's good enough to keep Zach Taylor's job. I think that's still good enough for him to keep his job.
But what would overall feeling be like in Bengals Nation if y'all finish 9-8? Because if I sat here and said, man, I feel like the Bengals, they're gonna be a good team. They might finish 9-8. The chat would light me up right now. Because they'd be like, "Oh, you hating all this." That's what I'm saying. But before the year, 9-8, hey, we'll take it. This one, it's the ultimate
that's what I predicted
paw.
originally. I think that's what I predicted originally. Yeah. But I mean, I don't think we would be mad because most people say we win like 4 or 5 games. So I don't think,
they're gonna be bad.
They'll be mad. You start 5. Hey, to be fair, you start 5-2 and you go 9-8. I mean, that's 4 and what 6. I mean,
yeah, it just depends. Does 9-8 make the playoffs? Because like if you make the playoffs at 9-8. I don't know.
The Browns was with 7-9 on a team that we thought was going to be 4-12 at the beginning of the year. Everybody got fired, like everybody, because they were 7-4 and they lost 5 straight. We thought that team was going to win 3 games because we were going to play Johnny Manziel. Everybody got fired after that year, dog. I'm just saying, like this is why I say the preseason prediction is the ultimate monkey's paw, because you'll say something like, "Hey, 6-10." If your team's like on the come up, I'll be happy with 7-9. You know what I mean? And if you go 7-9, and all of a sudden you remember going 7-9 don't feel good. Like it's one of those things. So I'm interested to see with Bengal fans, will this win elevate their expectations to the point to where if they do finish around or at the high end of where people were predicting, will that be a disappointment?
Okay, I have here from the Trip says, Ravens Nation, I'm right there with you, bro. I'm just tired of seeing QB after QB get a talent upgrade while Lamar continues play with mid-talent. I will say this.
We was
I mean, I hear this from Ravens fans after this, and there's a couple of things here. Look, Lamar, the Ravens did upgrade on receiver. I like the receiving core that the Ravens are presenting right now. Bateman, I didn't talk about Bateman because right now, I mean, we lost, so it was kind of irrelevant for this show. Bateman looked good. And I think the Ravens core on the skill position is good. The problem is, on the offensive side, the O-line right now is trash, right? Third, I don't think you come to the season expecting going on starting your third right tackle, and the other 2 are not coming back, when your left tackle also is out, and you're also on your third left guard. I don't think as a front office, you're like, this is going to happen. Also against the Bengals, you are down 3 running backs. We can talk about that. But then the running back that is playing the most, right, Latavius Murray, he also misses the game, right? So offensively, I think it's just the injuries is hurting the team. Should they upgrade an O-line? I mean, I said that in the offseason. I was on record that I wouldn't draft Odafe. Not that he's not playing good. He's playing way better than I thought. But I thought they should have drafted a right tackle in that position. So I think offensively right now, it's just a lot of injuries in that O-line. Let me see. Tony, is that the next one that you have? I think it is.
Sorry, let me see.
No. This guy.
We have crazy. Yeah. Well, we have
after
Crazy Mad. Did you get the Crazy Mad one, the $5 one?
After the trip, this is the next one I can see.
So after the trip, we have a kill of the great. Difference is Joe Burrow is far from a finished product. Ben was finished. The offense and defense still have steps to take. We're at 50% power.
Okay.
There's that one.
And then
there's Crazy Mad. Any Steeler fan who says they haven't circled the Bengals game in the last 20 years, I didn't say that. Is a liar. I didn't say that. Not haven't circled a Browns game in a very long time. Ravens and Bengals, obviously, they've been relevant.
No, you said Bengals and Browns.
You said Bengals and Browns in the last.
And I was like,
in like the last 5 years. Yeah, I mean, like since
not even the last 5 years.
When was the last time the Bengals were relevant? 2016,
2015, 2016.
Okay, so yeah, it's like 5-6 years. So if I said 5 years, then I was right.
Okay,
5 years. So, 2020, 2015.
Chef
this year though, after the Ryan Finley.
Yeah, well, there was a little bit of revenge on this one for sure. Every division game for this team is except the Ravens. Swept the Ravens last year.
Did you?
Easy sweep.
Hey,
never in doubt.
Okay. Jeff 22504 says the problem with Tony's take is teams are going to have to start double in Uno. that leaves a lighter box for Joding and single coverage for Boyd and Higgins.
And I think this is where this is going to be the key here, because I like I'm saying, the Bengals cannot keep winning the way they are, where it's just deep pass, long play. They're going to have to be more consistent offensively. And look, if this version of the offense unlocks something else for them, like I said, I'm willing to be wrong on this. I'm willing to look like an idiot. But they're not going to keep winning this way for the next 17 games.
By the way, but the Ravens, because they had Marlon Humphrey, they felt like they didn't need to double, which I understand why, because it's Marlon Humphrey. But the Lions have already started to see double teams.
By the way the Browns be forgetting receivers out there, yeah, man, he might put up 300 against us.
That's true.
He did. One thing I'll say about Joe Burrow in this game that he did in this game that he hasn't done pretty much all season, he attacked the deep middle of the field. If you looked at his spray charts all year, it's been kind of, he's him and like you could basically put a Ben Roethlisberger chart and a Joe Burrow chart together. They just don't attack the deep middle. In this game, he actually did, to his credit. And that's something that you need a young quarterback to start doing. Feel comfortable attacking the deep middle of the field. Once again, if they start unlocking if this offense starts to transform in the next couple of weeks, then everything I said today is going to be very, very silly.
Okay. Aquila the Great here says, with the Bengals schedule, going 9-0 will mean losing a lot of very winnable games. I'd be very mad if we went 9-0. I think that was Quincy's point, that at this point, starting 5-2, it's gonna be, people are gonna be mad if they go and be 9-8.
Yeah. See, the expectations rise. This is why I say your preseason prediction means nothing, because how you get there is everything.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm all caught up here.
We made it.
So, hey, I only
made every Bengals fan in chat mad. So my job here is done.
Just to finish that up, I will say this: Bengals fans, enjoy it. You guys deserve it. You guys punch us in the mouth, play like the better team, and won. That is all true. I'm not trying to take anything away from you. I'm just trying to give you what I saw from the game. Second, thank you for coming. Thank you for hitting that like. If you haven't, please hit it. Also, remember, we're not coming Thursdays. We're coming Fridays. That's why you need to hit that bell. So when we come live, you know right away. And anything else I'm missing?
That's it. We will be here. Like you said, we'll be back on Friday.
Okay. Ace, I think you should say the peace out.
Peace out. Let's get it.
Have you ever felt?
The pump fake. Are you listening? On the play. That's intercepted by Wilson.
Ball's out. Oh, look, ball is out. Oh, boy. The whole way. Geno Smith will drop deep. He'll pump. He'll take it. Lost the football. Knocked out by one. Recovered by Devin Bush, who circles the right way. He almost lost the ball.
Pressure coming. Mayfield able to get away, and now he'll uncork it for the end zone. Ball in the air, and it's caught. It's caught. Donovan Peoples-Jones. Baker's prayer is answered.
Okay, good show, guys.